Hi, I'm Lucy Edwards, Director of Client Success at VHT Studios. And I would love to introduce Robert Gavura, the Regional Vice President of Northern Valley of Christie's International Real Estate. Rob, I've known you for over 15 years, and through the years, you've been in management positions. So it's an amazing relationship that you are building with your agents, and that's why I was looking forward to this meeting and to this interview.
Well, Lucy, it is a pleasure seeing you again. So I want to introduce myself a little bit, just to give you a little background. I started real estate back in 2002 in sales, and within 3 years became among the top of the company in sales. And I'd love to say it's because I'm so great.
Yes, you are.
But actually, it's not. It's we had a great supporting cast around, and I love to learn from others. And after that brief stint in real estate, I decided to enter into leadership because I have a passion for leadership. So for that time, I probably have been in it ever since 2005 in leadership in various capacities. At one point, I managed probably about 900 people in about 8 different offices. And I love real estate, and my passion is to help people succeed.
Well, that kind of brings me to another question. The difference between the manager or the office manager and the leader is the ability to create the atmosphere in the office that agents are eager to come back and interact and be part of the team. And I think that is so important. And the way I see you, yes, you are able to create that atmosphere and that chemistry.
Well, absolutely. And Lucy, I learned this early on from my Wall Street career. Managers, there's a big difference between managers and leaders. Managers react to what's around them and they tell people what to do, where leaders inspire people, and that inspiration leads to actually people following you willingly. Managers are very good at training, typically. Leaders coach and show how it's done. It's easy to tell someone what to do. It's harder to actually show them and be a key participant in their success. And leaders create the culture in an office, a culture of success, so much so that people want to come into the office and want to be around that leader because it inspires them to do more. And one of my key attributes, I feel, during my tenure as a successful sales leader is leaders light a fire in people, not under them. And leaders serve. They serve. And they are focused on the growth and the development of the people around them. It isn't about the person, it's always about everyone else.
Well, that is, I love that about the fire. That is absolutely fabulous. Well, tell me please, when someone in your office, they need an advice, or they feel down, or they're just so stressed out and so burned out from the fire around them, they come to you for help in a way. How do you react, and how you are there for your agents when they really need you and they have different personalities, different objectives, and here you are?
Well, that's another good question. And Lucy, one of the most important things that I think a successful real estate leader, just in leader itself, needs to possess is listening skills. And you must listen with the intent to absorb, not reply. And the reason why is, agents go through ups and downs of success, and there's also a lot of personal things going on in their life. And you have to apply this, quote from in which I apply to the people that I serve. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So you have to first get them engaged. And then once you get them engaged, you have to focus on 3 things. Number one is you have to focus on the reality. What is currently going on? Second, you have to focus on possible options. And you work the options out with the person that you're meeting with together. You collaborate. And then collectively, you decide on a way forward. And what I find is once you do this in a very artful, articulate manner, you can bring out the passion, because the passion is what leads that sales associate to do more. And, coaching someone, you must focus on their goals. And I feel like once you come to grips by utilizing these three things, which is reality, options, and a way forward, only then are you in a good position to be an impactful leader. And one of the things I also do whenever an agent say production is maybe not where they want it to be, I always encourage them to schedule what I call is a jam session. And what a jam session is when you think about a musician, when they're about to go in to start an album, they go in with their group and they schedule what's called a jam session, which is focused time where they are only focused on creating that new album. And agents should spend a time by doing a jam session focused on their most valuable priorities. What is going to generate income now? And they must do that without distractions, so they're in great position to move forward and be successful at what they do.
Well, I agree with you. Focus is extremely important. And focus is the base of your strategy when you come to work and you have a plan. I think it is very important part of your daily life and daily routine. Cannot agree more. I would like to, that kind of brings me to another question. What do you think, what are the 5 most important things that agent can do to increase their productivity? Because it's all about productivity regardless, even if they are at home, they're with their kids, they are in the gym, and today we're talking about them being in the office and being productive. So what are the 5, I'm sure there are more, but what are the 5 most important things that you can recommend?
Well, Lucy, it's funny you mentioned the gym. I'll talk about that in a minute. The first thing I really feel simply a must, is for an agent to have a system. Systems remove the need for discipline. There's an old adage, and that old adage is willpower will always fail. So I'll give you an example of that in my life. So, everybody has their weakness, their go-to food for that quiet, guilty pleasure.
Okay.
And mine is jalapeno potato chips.
Oh my God, those are mine as well. So how you deal with them?
I love them. So what I do is I have a system when I go into the supermarket. And you know what that system is? That system is I pretend that the potato chip aisle does not exist, and I skip right over it. Because willpower will always fail. If you see it, you're going to want to indulge. But if you pretend it doesn't exist, you just have a system and you don't go down that aisle.
I will follow your advice.
So that's the first. And then the second, I feel, which isn't spent enough time on in coaching and developing sales associates as it should, is mastering the art of asking questions. In sales, a lot of people think that, well, you have to be a great talker. And I guess that is kind of true. Yeah. But what's more important is your ability to ask questions. And sometimes even questioning the answer places you in great position that you don't make a wrong judgment on what is being said. And also, which is a part of asking those questions, is perfecting your presentation. So much of our presentations is less about the content and more about how we deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
So I work on that with my sales associates. And the third thing is, very important, is write down the 6 things you want to accomplish tomorrow, the night before. And the reason why this is actually important is very simple. And it provides excellent clarity for the salesperson on decision making. And it's single task. And I prefer to call this the WTF.
Oh my goodness, okay.
It's not what you think. It's what's the focus. And I learned this example throughout my career during my tenure on Wall Street in financial services. Charles Schwab ran a steel company called Bethlehem Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And he hired a consultant. And his reason for bringing a consultant was he wanted to increase the productivity of his workers. And what he found is the best way to go about that. He hired somebody called Ivy Lee, that was his name, and he implemented this small strategy. Write down the 6 things you want to accomplish the night before and do it the next day. And the productivity of the steel company and the workers increased exponentially. And also, what is important from an accountability perspective is you should have a PDA. What is a PDA? It's a public display of accountability. If you write your goals, it's kind of like if I shared with you, I'm going to lose 40 pounds and posted it on Facebook. I really would be under pressure to do it because I just told everybody about it. So it's a way to create great accountability. Mm-hmm. And then fourth is the most important skill of the 21st century. And it is controlling your attention. The old world, time management was really important, working 9 to 5. The new world, we are constantly being solicited. So you must control what I call is your ADD, your active digital disorder, between Facebook, LinkedIn, what's going on in the media, the news, and all of the solicitations that occur online when you go on websites, they follow you. You must control your attention in order to maximize your productivity.
Back to focus.
Correct. WTF. And then lastly, what I find is when sales associates do this, their business increases, is log your day. Do what I call a sales journal, because the sales journal enables you to analyze your business and see if you are doing enough income producing activities which will result, in a perfect world, in overflowing profits.
Well, that is amazing. I just absolutely love your strategy, and I'm sure that your agents appreciate it, and they appreciate that you share the knowledge and the passion, and I think it is extremely important to keep that up. So I would like to talk about the passion. When you come to the office and you are a high energy person, you have that personality that when you walk in, everyone knows you are here because your passion, your energy, your positive energy is all the way around, and you are not stingy, you are sharing it. So when you come in to the office, how you interact with your team members, your agents, people who are with you day to day, and how you are able to share it and make it contagious.
Well, energy is contagious in an office. I really feel that when you're in an office, the most important thing is your environment around you. So I like to create fun. The most important thing is, in this business, we want to make a lot of money, but we want to have fun while we're doing it. So I create an energy in the office that is great teamwork. Mm-hmm. I create a high energy, and it's a growth mindset, meaning that I always, at the end of my year when I do business planning for the following year, I always ask sales associates, what did you learn this year and what did you implement? And for next year, what are you going to start doing and what are you going to stop doing? I am always focused on a better way. And I think it's kind of like human nature. And when customers are buying houses, they always want what they can't afford, and a seller always wants more than what they should, than what they should ask. It's human nature to always want more. So agents always want more, and I love to help them and give them more.
That is a great answer. I want to be on your team, that's for sure. What about, again, talking about agents and your relationship with agents? Let's say someone has a high-end listing. The seller is incredibly difficult. We all know that they can be. And let's say the listing itself is very difficult. The situation, maybe it's a divorce, maybe it's something very urgent that has to take place. And the agent is kind of lost in a way and he or she comes to you for an advice, for help. Will you go with them to the listing presentation? Will you be there from A to Z and guide them if they ask you and if they need it?
Well, that's a great question. First is absolutely I would go. I look at my job as relationship management. My clients are my agents I serve. But in addition to that, the most important thing is customer satisfaction and keeping all of our customers happy. So when I go on a listing appointment, I ask two things. Before going in, once I'm in, rather, I ask two questions. One is, why am I here? Which is important. And second is, how will this move affect you and your family? And what I find when you ask that question, it connects with the seller on an emotional level, so much so that they don't really want to tell that story again. And, most of the time, agents are going in and they're talking about market share and how they're great. I want to talk about the client situation and how we can help them accomplish the objective and take the monkey off their back and put it on ours. That's one way. And, the old adage also on a high-end listing is, you can't reduce something you don't have. So you can, be honest and upfront with them, but at the end of the day, it is their house and you're there to serve. And if we all agree to disagree on where it should be priced, we can still take the price and improve tomorrow, but there are some strategies that we can use before reaching that. One is you have to collaborate with them. So you have to ask them, and what I find this really works well is I encourage the seller to remove emotion as it pertains to their house and actually rebuy their house. So what I mean by rebuy their house is, when warranted, let's go out and see your competition. So you have a great idea of what's on the market and what is not selling, because if it's on the market, that means it's not selling. And, there's two different schools of thought. There's being in the market and on the market. On the market is you listed your house. In the market is you're in the zone where you're going to get showings and you're going to be in great position to sell the house. Also, what's critical on a high-end listing is you must market the property and tell a story about it. So you have to utilize video marketing, which what better person to talk about video marketing than you, Lucy?
Thank you.
And also, what you have to do, though, is you have to tell a story. People like to hear stories about the house, especially if it's a high-end property. And the home must be sold 3 times, not once, 3 times. Once to the neighbors, second to the real estate agents, and third to a ready, willing, and able buyer. You have to get people excited about the property. And the way to do that is by bringing everybody involved around it, because, when it comes to the neighbors, studies show family likes to move their family, friends like to move their friends. Who knows where that buyer is going to come from? And then, of course, you have to charm the seller. So the way to charm the seller is, share your stories and your experiences, and as someone that's presided over $3 billion in real estate transactions, I certainly have my share of stories.
I so believe in stories. I believe that a realtor is a liaison between the buyer and the seller. And with the help of their marketing strategy and their experience, they can tell that story to the buyer. So I agree with you, Rob. That is fabulous.
Well, that brings me to a story. So this happened actually. It was a couple of years ago, and I hadn't been on a listing appointment in a while. And on a listing appointment, it was a condo complex, but it was a high-end condo complex in the New York City area. And we went on the appointment, and the agent that I went on the appointment with maybe didn't have the experience of selling high-end luxury properties as some of the others. Well, we were put to the test there, Lucy. So when I was on the appointment, we got asked, and the gentleman was in financial services. He said, why would I list with you? And I was like, why not? And he began to say, well, this agent that I'm also considering sold $60 million in real estate this year. Your agent has sold 5 properties? And I first took a step back and said, I hadn't been on a listing appointment in a while. So I said, I could appreciate your position. And then it came to me, I said, let me ask you a question. Who do you think sells the most hamburgers in your town? What establishment? And he rebutted, what does that have to do with anything? I said, please, just humor me. He said, McDonald's. I said, good answer. They do a lot of volume. And then I said, where would you go for the best hamburger? And he mentioned another place. No offense to McDonald's, but it wasn't McDonald's. And I quickly rebutted after he said that. I said, it sounds like you recognize the difference between quality and quantity. Is your home your most valuable possession or one of them? Would you like a quality agent or a quantity agent? So anyway, we did get the listing. We did get another good fee. So
that is wonderful. What a great story. No, story is important. And again, being there and understanding the story, you can use it the right way. So that is absolutely great. So I think it was an absolutely fabulous interview and conversation. It's not an interview. I've known you for so long. I'm so comfortable with you, Rob. You are fabulous. You are so great with agents. What would you like to wish everybody before we go? And so what is your direction right now and your suggestion in today's situation, in today's environment? What would you recommend?
Well, that's another very good question, and it's absolutely a pleasure doing this with you. It's so much fun. I would instill the sales associate today to really evaluate their business. Map where their business is coming from. Number one. Number two is try and find a commonality with your customer. What do I mean by that? All of your customers. Meaning, are they analytical? Are they big personalities? And it's important to know because you want to meet more people like your clients that you've had to do more transactions. And I will say what I think is one of the keys, because real estate agents work really hard. You have to make it fun and celebrate your wins and successes and have a reward system. You know what I mean by reward system? For every milestone in your career, you should reward yourself. And I think doing that, it doesn't lose the fun of the business and keeps you involved and excited. And lastly, I'll leave you with this. Whatever business activity you're going to do, you have to do it with passion. Because if you don't do it with passion, you're not going to have the same success as if you did it with passion. Passion is contagious, and it makes you, just like my tie clip says, optimistic. The future has never been better, and prosperity is amongst us.
Well, thank you, Rob. That was absolutely fabulous. I just loved it. I feel passionate. So let's go and get it.
Let's go.
All the best, everybody, and have a great day. Cheers.
Take care. Thank you. Have a nice day.